Welcome back to my channel, Bring Peace into Your Life. Today I would like to talk about a client that I worked with recently who was a victim of love bombing. So I want to talk to you about love bombing and how to spot it. Love bombing is a manipulative tactic where someone showers a new partner with intense, over-the-top affection, gifts, and quite often grand declarations of love early on in the relationship. This happens very, very quickly at the start of one of these relationships, and it builds an intense bond and can create a lot of dependency. Quite often, after this happens, the love bombing comes first, all the attention, all the thoughts of, this is how I'm feeling about you, you're amazing, I want you in my life. But quite often after that, it can turn into emotional abuse. There can be controlling behaviour and also a lot of behaviour and verbalisation to devalue the partner of the person who's love bombing. The reason that they do this is it feels intoxicating initially, but it's actually a grooming tool. So it makes the victim feel indebted to the person who's love bombing them. It makes them feel controlled. And it also, in that sense, makes them less likely to leave when the abuser eventually withdraws affection or becomes cruel. So they draw you in with all these affirmations, with all these love languages, love tokens, and you feel like you've been swept off your feet, but actually it's too good to be true. It's not as good as it looks. So what I would like to do is break this down for you. So key signs of love bombing is rapid relationship escalation. So in the first few stages of the relationship, someone saying I love you, or talking about marriage, or wanting to move in very quickly. So it becomes extremely intense very, very quickly into the relationship, and quite often people can get caught off guard. They are feeling very loved, very accepted, very wanted by that person, and that can make the relationship very, very quick and the connection built up very quickly. And before you know it, you can then go into a stage where maybe you're not being treated very nicely. So another sign of love bombing is excessive gifts and compliments. So quite often it's very lavish presents, so very expensive presents, or they will take you out to very expensive meals, maybe to a restaurant or maybe a hotel, and they will pay the bill and be shown to paying the bill, so that they are lavishing you with all these presents. There's constant praise or extravagant gestures that feel very overwhelming. So the person that's being love bombed could feel overwhelmed, but also feel that they can't really say anything, that they feel that they should just go with it because this person is being so open and accepting and pulling you into this relationship. And that can be very difficult to actually get away from, or say maybe this is too much too soon, you're moving too fast. And that is exactly why the person who's love bombing is doing it. They want to pull the person in and build a connection there that maybe feels like they can't break that connection. There's also a sign is communication overload. So constant texts, calls, or needing to be in touch all the time, making you feel quite smothered. So some people, when this happens to them, they cool things off, they don't want that. But other people, they feel indebted to that person if they're lavishing them with gifts and gestures, and they feel that they're not able to say anything or to pull away. There's also a thing called future faking. So this is painting a picture of a perfect future together to solidify the bond with the person that they're love bombing. Quite often when someone is being love bombed, there's a big pressure for commitment. So pushing for exclusivity or commitment before you're ready. So saying, oh, it's just you and me, we don't need to date anybody else. Why would we need to date anybody else? And making that person feel like they are the only one that's in that person's life. While love bombing is really a red flag, and some people recognise this, what's happening, and some people don't. Some people, it may be their friends that recognise it or their relatives, but they maybe feel that they don't want to admit that that's the case, or they have been taken in by this person that's love bombing them. So the reason why it is a red flag is it's a form of manipulation. So the goal is to hook the person in, make them feel indebted, and to break down the boundaries that that person has. So they build a trust with that person, a closeness, and that can be difficult to walk away from. It's also a sign of control. So quite often love bombing is a precursor to coercive control. So it's the first step to building coercive control in a relationship, where the abuser uses the established bond to control the person that they're love bombing. So love bombing comes first, and then quite often coercive control behaviour can come into that, and before you know it, you're in an abusive relationship. The other reason it's a red flag is it's a cycle of abuse. The intense affection is often followed by sudden coldness or withdrawing, criticism, and quite often some cruelty and really not nice behaviour to the person that's being love bombed. This then makes victims desperate to regain the initial love. So they will feel that they've let that person down, that they've maybe not been the best partner that they should have been. And then they do what they can to reconnect and build that bond again. And that is where the person that has love bombed is in control, because the person who they're doing it to is trying to pull them back in again. And then the person that's love bombed will come back in, will show lots of affection again, and then go cold again, and then that can be a real cycle. So there's a love bombing part, then there's the cruelty, there's the coldness, and then the person that's in the relationship feels like they don't know what to do. They want this relationship, so they make more of an effort, and it becomes a cycle. The way that love bombing differs from genuine love, there's a couple of different ways that it differs. Genuine love takes time. It takes time to build. It takes time to get to know someone, to get to know who they are, what they like. It also takes time for another person to get to know you. And if you do that on a slow, regular basis where you get to know each other, that then builds a proper, genuine love. Respect for boundaries is really important in a genuine love as well. So you get to know each other's boundaries, you get to know each other very well and what you will and will not accept. And genuine love allows space and it builds gradually. So it's about taking your time, getting to know each other and building a good foundation of a relationship. And love bombing does not have any room for that. So love bombing feels really too good to be true. It moves way too fast and creates a sense of obligation rather than mutual respect. So when the person is love bombed and then the other person goes cold, they feel obliged to turn things up, turn up the heat, try and pull the person back, and then it's a vicious cycle. So when you do get to know someone genuinely, and you do meet someone that genuinely wants to know you and get to know you and build a relationship with you, there shouldn't be a rush. You shouldn't be going at 90 miles an hour. It shouldn't be that way. It should be taking your time to get to know each other, to understand each other, and to build a mutually respectful relationship and really work out if you're the right person for each other. And that's something that love bombing is not. So if you are starting a new relationship and you feel like it's too good to be true, you feel like you're being bombarded, like it's too intense, like you've jumped into like the 6-month period within a couple of weeks, it's a good idea to take a step back and think about the way you're being treated and if this is right for you. And also sometimes it's good to really talk to your friends, your family, tell them what's going on and see their perspective, because obviously they are genuinely people who love you and who want to take care of you. So if this is something that you have experienced, just remember that we all want to have relationships, we all want to connect with people, and quite often we can be trusting in a relationship because you go into a relationship thinking the best. So don't blame yourself if this has happened to you. What I would say is take it in your stride, work on yourself, work on how you feel about yourself and your confidence and your self-esteem, so that when you are going into the next relationship, you can take your time and build on things. And if the person wants to rush, you can say to them, I'm not ready to rush into something, I want to take my time. And if they respect that, fantastic. If they don't, then you maybe need to make the decision whether this is the right person for you or not, and whether you step away. So I hope this video has helped you. If you have any stories of what's happened to you or any advice, please put it in the comments and share. And I hope everybody is well that's watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.